So yeah, like I was saying, like hatred and that kind of thing. When someone hates you or hates things, it's usually they've got something going on within themselves. You know, some kind of, you know. So that's why I just how I look at it is just like for me to ever say I hate something, if I was to say I hate something or despise something, like for me now, I would really and truly really have to have that really overwhelming, strong emotion towards that thing or that person to feel like that. Like, you know, it would take a lot for me to say that. You know, like you said, you know, you might dislike people or dislike things or whatever, but doesn't mean you hate them. You know, you still want to see them. It's like I don't want you sitting at my table, but I don't mind you having your own table. If you see what I mean, like, you know, I want to see you flourish, but just not at on my, you know. Yeah. So, but life is all about experiences. You know, we live and we learn, and as time goes by, we become wiser, and our intuition grows, and our discernment grows as well, and we learn how to be more critical, how to, you know, use our critical thinking and our logic and our common sense, and amongst other things, our intuition and other things, you know, to analyze situations and circumstances and relationships and friendships and etc. As you get, you know, throughout the years, whether it be as, you know, in your adolescent years when you're having friends, or you get a little bit older and you get teenage years and things change, you know, relationship you have with your friends change, and you know, etc. So yeah, it's all about experiences, you know. It's just each and every one of them just is what makes us who we are today, you know. That's why I don't regret anything. Like, even though I know there's some things in the past that I did that were not so nice years ago, many years ago, just like everyone else out there has made mistakes, you know. Everyone makes mistakes in life, and you know, back in my teenage years, I was living a certain life, and I made some mistakes, and there's things that, you know, sometimes I think to myself, if I could change them, would I? And then when I think about it twice, I'm like, actually no, because, you know, if
sometimes people make mistakes because they're not brought up properly. Do you know what I mean?
True. Education, lack of education.
That's right. You know, they didn't know better.
Mm.
You know, a lot of people just learn for themselves out there. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, you know, like I was talking about the nettles earlier on. You know, and touching them and that. And even though your mum or everyone's telling you not to do it, you kind of like learn for yourself in the end. You know, by stinging yourself. You know.
Yeah.
But I think, like, you know, your memory. You know, like I've said, like, I wouldn't want to lose my memories, right?
Yeah.
You know, I think it's your memories really that make you intelligent.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, now I'm 57, I can look back on my life at quite a few experiences. You know, I mean, I shared a few about the budgery going, whatever, you know. I just shared a few.
Yeah.
Just a few. You know, and I've got so many more to share.
Yeah.
Kind of way, you know. So I feel like I've had a few more experiences than you, because I'm a bit older than you, you know, and that's fair enough. But I feel like you, for your age and all that, you know, like, you just turned 31, I feel like you're very, very wise. You know, you're a lot wiser than I was. You know, 31 was that way, do you know what I mean? You know, I feel like you, I mean, for one, you've gone to, I mean, you lived in the Caribbean, wherever, you know. I didn't.
Yeah.
You know, I've been many places before. I've been in France, Germany, and Malta, all kinds of places, whatever, but I've never been there. You know, so you've done something I've not. But I have gone, you know, seen films of the Caribbean, and, you know, like documentaries, and I can go there on the internet. You know, I kind of like, you know, seen parts of it, you know, I kind of, but I've never actually been there, do you know what I mean, like you have, and actually experienced what life is actually like there. You know what I mean? I think like different places that you do live around, you know, wherever you live in America or Australia, you know, we are kind of different, you know, experiencing life a little bit different, I think. For one, the weather's different.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like the people are a little bit different as well, you know, like depending where you live. You know, and I feel like, I mean, I went to holiday to Malta when I was younger for a couple of weeks, you know, and this is, you know, really basically my first holiday ever, really, you know, sort of first time on an aeroplane. And So that's a, you know, number one first experience for me, taking off in the air, you know, and seeing everything little below me, whatever, and landing, whatever, you know, and getting there, and actually experience sort of a completely different population, you know, where they went out every Sunday, these people, do you know what I mean? They sort of like celebrated together where they don't, you know, they don't do that here. You know, it's a different culture completely, you know, and it's quite an experience really, you know, do you know what I mean? When you go to different places, it's quite an experience, you know.
Definitely. All the different culture and customs
food
and
everything kind of way, you know, the everything you look at is like brand new, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like being a newborn baby all of a sudden, you know, and everything's new.
Yeah.
You know? Every face that you look at is new as well, you know, almost, you know, apart from the people that you went with.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. That's the beautiful thing about travelling.
Yeah, but I say you can travel within the mind.
Yeah.
You know, I say the imagination's more powerful than your legs. That's for sure. You know. You know, I'm actually beginning to, you know, in the last year or so, realise how beautiful really it is to dream. You know, I say, like, if you were born and you could not dream, what's the point of being alive? Do you know what I mean? There's no reason. You know, and if you can't remember anything in life, you're going to be lost. You know what I mean? And some people have got bad memories, some people have got good. You know, and I'm quite happy today really that I've got quite a good memory, a very good imagination on me that's growing by the year. You know, and that I think that's something to look forward to really, you know, in life, you know, getting more intelligent really, you know, within yourself, you know, I mean, I've only just discovered really that, you know, like it takes time to learn how to dream for one, you know, it takes more than 10 years, let's put it that way, I think, you know, to actually learn how to actually start really using your imagination so you can do things, you know, and draw things or come up with your own ideas and things, do you know what I mean? It takes a long time, you know, and every year that goes by, it's growing and growing, you know, and what else can you ask for, do you know what I mean? Every year that you go, you know, you think about it, you're remembering every year that goes by, you know, and thank God that we can, in a kind of way that we can, you know, we can do that, you know, we can remember, you know, if you see what I mean, you know. So I'd be totally lost if I didn't have my memories in a kind of way, you know. But, you know, funny in a kind of way, you know, like, whatever you've done, like, for instance, you know, I got married, I was with her for a long time, you know, I was putting my kids to bed and everything, taking them to school, reading stories every night, you know, but that's all completely gone, it's like a dream. That's, you know, do you know what I mean? It's like a memory. Memories are only dreams. Can you imagine that, like, just your whole life, you can only remember it now? You know, your whole marriage, and your whole childhood, just all in one memory in a kind of way, you know?
Yeah.
It's like sometimes, you know, like me and my brother, you know, we're together and he might say something about something that happened in the childhood, you know, and I think, no, I didn't do that, you know, yes you didn't, you know, you kind of ring bells, you know, and it comes back to you, you know, do you know what I mean? You know, and it's all in there somewhere, but sometimes it gets lost, your memories, in a funny way. It's an incredible thing, I think, you know, to have a memory, if you ask me, you know, I think it's better than being born, if you sort of mean. You know, a baby don't, when they're first born, they don't really realise they've got a memory, do you know what I mean? They're just slowly starting to remember things, you know, day by day, you know, until they learn about what they are, you know, if you sort of mean.
Yeah, they're recording everything. Everything's being recorded in the database. All that information, especially like the first 7 years, as they always say. First 7 years, they're like sponges, you know, all that information, you know, they're soaking up so much information, so much, trying to be, basically trying to understand the world and
Takes time.
their surroundings, their environment, and yeah.
Takes a long time, doesn't it? You can imagine like a child being born, it needs to learn how to survive in this world. I mean, on its own in a kind of way, be independent basically, and learn how to cook, whatever, do everything for itself.
The journey of being, dependent to being completely independent. The slow journey, the slow progression of,
And not just that, like you learn how to be independent, but then you learn, not all people, but you have a family, don't you? And you learn how to sort of be responsible, I suppose, for someone else, you see.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Not just independent, but actually teaching other people, like, your children, how to be independent, again, in a funny way, do you know what I mean? So you learn how to survive, become independent, and stand on your own feet, basically.
Yeah.
And then that's time to have another child, really.
Yeah.
To help them do the same thing.
Yeah.
In a kind of way, teach them the same thing in life,
Mm.
But maybe even teach them to be better than version of yourself.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You teach your children to try to be better than you, don't you, in a funny way, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
You want them to be an improvement on yourself.
Oh, of course, yeah. Well, naturally, because
you don't want them making your mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of thing.
And all the information that you've learned up to the point of you having your child, once over the years, as the years go by, all the information that you know, and all the experiences and everything else that you've had and experienced in your life, you can share, with your children. That's the beautiful thing. It's like you're giving them information from a first-hand experience,
And I think it's good fun, to sort of be responsible and wanting to sort of educate a child, you know what I mean, to become independent, you know what I mean. I think it's a good feeling, really, to sort of help someone.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? To be better than yourself, and you love them that much because they are you in a funny way, because they you made them. They come from your blood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
And even having I've had 3 children now, two boys and 1 girl.
Yeah.
And I was at the birth of each one of them.
Yeah.
And that's an experience.
It is, yeah.
Each one of them's different a little bit,
It's quite a strange experience, isn't it? Like we've talked about before.
Yeah.
Same for me. I've got a son and a daughter, and I was present for both, right from the beginning to the end, and it is that in itself is quite an experience, isn't it? Watching human life.
Yeah. And,
human life being brought into the
Yeah.
world for the first time, literally.
Listen to a baby cry for the first time ever, breathing, It's quite weird, quite unique, and it definitely sort of makes you, emotionally, it plays your emotions, that's for sure, It's a good, a funny experience, not a funny experience, but dramatic, just meaningful, let's put it that way. Yeah. I don't want any more children, mind,
Yeah.
3's enough,
Yeah.
My first son was cesarean, so that was different.
Yeah.
And that was from a different mother, and then the other 2 was from a different mother, but they were natural, so they were both different, and I'm pleased that I actually made it to the hospital, if you see what I mean. I was there to experience it in a kind of way, I mean, some parents take it to go, whatever,
Yeah, true, yeah. It's very true. But yeah, life is just for living, as they say, We're all just here having our own individual experience, learning things and, just having fun and making memories, you know. I think it's just a learning experience, literally. Life is just a learning experience, you know. So that when we, you know, it's our time to move on and our time to kind of, you know, transcend into the next world, into the next dimension or whatever it is. I think it was just, you know, coming here to Earth is just a learning experience, you know.
I want to be an ant or something, you know, my next life, be an ant or something, you know, some insect or something, like a worm.
Really?
Can you imagine it?
I get crushed
Crushed
within 2 minutes, crushed within 2 minutes of, you know.
What, being a worm or an ant?
Or both.
Ants.
Either. You may get crushed within 2 minutes of being alive.
Probably be eaten by a blackbird if you're a worm.
Yeah, if you're a worm, yeah.
You know, but that's what I'm saying, like, your imagination's a very beautiful thing,
Mm.
you know, and it can travel. And I feel like your imagination can actually give you experiences, that's all I'm saying, before you actually... That's if you've got a good enough imagination, you know. I feel like my imagination is powerful enough to dream of almost whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the future, can it grow any more?
Yeah.
You know?
Mm.
Like I say, some old people, when they get old, they start losing their memory.
They do, yeah.
And this is one thing
Quite sad.
I really don't want to happen to me.
Yeah.
If you know, I don't want to experience that, do you know what I mean? And I think it's a horrible experience for other people to put up with, you know. It's like my granddad, as I've said in previous episodes, he lost his memory, you know, at the end of his life, you know. In the last 5 years, you know, it deteriorated, do you know what I mean? And that's a sad thing for everyone to put up with, you know,
Of course,
that
yeah.
somebody that loves, that they love, can't remember them anymore. Can you imagine it? Not nice, you know, but this happens to quite a few people in a kind of way as they get older, you know.
Mm.
And it's just something really that I don't want to, you know, that I want to keep hold of, really, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want my memories to get worse, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to sort of like each day, really, you know, as you're living life, to focus on the moment, really, you know, so you don't lose it. If you see what I mean, I think like a lot of people lose their memories, right, because they start living in the past. Then they start going a bit crazy in here, honestly. This is what I think. They go crazy in the mind.
Mm.
They're living in the past about something, you know. They're not living the moment anymore. Or they're not forgiving anything in the past, whatever, for any reason, right? So you can't live the moment, right? And you can't really dream if you're not enjoying the moment, really, you know, about awesome things.
Yeah.
You can't fly to the moon or anything because you're worried about the past or angry or, you know, do you know what I mean? You with me? You know, now I think there's a lot of people like this, you know, that can't dream today. You know, and I think it's really important to dream, really, you know. I was talking about last week, you know, meditating. You know, and that's a time where you can take your dreams through many experiences, you know, and you can take yourself through experiences that you've never experienced before in your life. Mm. You know, there's no way you can sort of sit here right now and say that you can walk through the moon right now. Your body can do that. With something called walk through the earth. Mm. But you can imagine it.
Yeah.
That's the difference, you see.
Mm.
You can imagine actually flying through the earth itself, like Superman, through the core, without getting burned, okay? Or you can get burned if you want. Do you know what I mean? It's up to you. Your imagination is powerful. You know, and I think, you know, you can be Superman, really, basically, you know, within your own imagination, you see. And that's where I feel that you can control your dreams and control your future, really, and sort of like make your dreams come true, really, if you're just enjoying the moment, forgetting about the past in the kind of way. You know, you can't forget about the past, it's there, but, you know, I'm glad I got a past to look at in a kind of way, you know. And, you know, when I look at my past, it's sort of like been good fun, been devastating here and there, you know. and it's sort of like a
ups and downs.
no, it's been all kinds of things, you know, like good days. You know, I got married one day, you know, it was lovely, and other days it hasn't been good. You know, I've had, suddenly lost my wife. You know, she fell in love with someone else. You know what I mean? And that was quite painful for me. You know, I think like we all deal with these kind of circumstances a little bit. You know, love itself. You know, we all like meet, you know, somebody that we kiss for the first time or whatever, or most of us do, whatever, you know, and it breaks up, you know. I think most of us travel through all this love game, you know. It's a complicated thing to learn, I think, you know, and to become wise about, really, you know, like having a relationship. You know, we had an episode about relationships once, didn't we, you know, and I think it's very difficult, really, to sort of even learn how to have a relationship in life in a funny way, you know. It takes a lot of, many years to become wise for one, you know, in life. You know, so, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But through age, through getting older, through experiences, generally brings wisdom. Not always, but in a lot of cases, you know. You know, the more experiences you have, hopefully the wiser you become. You know, the more relationships you have, the more career experience you have, the more whatever it is, it's applicable to everything, you know. The more experiences you have, the more opportunity you have to learn from, you know, whatever that may be, you know. It's like, okay, if you're in a relationship with, let's use in a relationship, say for example, if you're in a relationship with someone and you made a mistake, let's say you committed like an infidelity, you were unfaithful, you know, and let's say you're one of these people that's got a habit of being unfaithful in relationships, and then the relationship breaks down and it no longer